can say English words, all right? Just leave me alone. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. What's going on, everybody? My name's Corey, that TCG guy. Yeah, I'm back. All right, so we're coming back with another Commander quick take kind of thing. Not a full deck tech, just kind of breaking down a couple of key cards for one of the new commanders. Just breaking down a couple of key cards from one of the new commanders from Streets of New Capenna. Today, we're moving out of the Esper world and we're going into the Naya world. We're gonna go to the cats and dogs, because people love cats and dogs. All right, so tonight we're talking about Ginny Fay, Jetmir's second. This is a pretty interesting creature card, and I think it's going to give Ren and Siri either a run for their money, or it's just going to be added to Ren and Siri, or Ren and Siri is obviously going to be part of this. All right, this is the first issue we've had with the canon since moving it to this like more handheld format. But anyway, let's go read the card. All right, so we have Ginny Fay. Jinnie? Let's say Ginny Fay. Jetmir's second. This is a 3/3 legendary creature, elf druid, for hybrid Gruul, hybrid Selesnya, and a green. If you would create one or more tokens, you may instead create that many 2/2 green cat creature tokens with haste, or that many 3/1 green dog creature tokens with vigilance. So it's pretty obvious, I think, what we're going to want to do with this commander. This is your typical go wide, massive token generation, kind of, swarm the board kind of strategy, I think. I mean, you could probably go a few different ways. EDH Rec has a few different themes. Basically, tokens, treasure tokens, or then like cat or dog tribal. So I think the way to go with this is just a straight tokens build. I don't think there's any crazy, weird thing you could do with this one. I think it's pretty straightforward, but I still think there's a lot of room for creativity, ways to make tokens, ways to manipulate tokens, ways to just flood the board with cats or dogs. And then there's some, payoffs for having, a certain amount of creatures of the same type, or a mass board of creatures. So there's definitely ways we can abuse this, but let's go into some of the newer cards that I feel are going to fit really well into this strategy. All right, first off, you have the other commander from this set, or one of the other commanders from this set, Jetmir, Nexus of Rebels. This is a 5/4 legendary creature cat demon for 1 in Naya, and it reads, creatures you control get +1/+0 and have vigilance as long as you control 3 or more creatures. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and have trample as long as you control 6 or more creatures. And then creatures you control also get +1/+0 and have double strike as long as you control 9 or more creatures. So this is a commander all on its own, and people are losing their minds over Jetmir. And I definitely want to look into this deck in the future as well, but I definitely like token strategies a little bit more. And you can definitely go tokens with this as well. Don't get it twisted, but you're going to want to put this in here because you're easily going to have the eventual 9 creatures you need to get the most out of Jetmir. So definitely throwing it in this deck. Next up is another rare. It's an enchantment, Rabble Rousing, 4 and a white with Hideaway 5. We know what Hideaway is. Whenever you attack with 1 or more creatures, create that many 1/1 green and white citizen tokens. If you control 10 or more creatures, you may play the exiled card from Hideaway without paying its mana cost. So, attacking with a ton of creatures, making that many 1/1 green and white citizen creatures, which you can turn into cats or dogs, is easily worth throwing into this deck. So Rabble Rousing, in any token strategy, really, this is going to be a staple card, I think. It's a little expensive, but we can get around that. And, the card that has the community kind of at odds with each other, Bootlegger's Stash. This one here is an artifact for 5 and a green. Lands you control have tapped to create a treasure token. Yeah, it's pretty busted, but if you're using it for fun, like using your lands to create 3/1 dogs or 2/2 cats with haste, I think that this is an excellent inclusion. And, if you don't have your commander out and you need some mana, this is a pretty good option. But if we use it for good, or for fun, I should say, I think we can get away with, its ridiculousness level of a card. Black Market Tycoon is another inclusion here from the current set. A 2/2 creature cat rogue for Gruul. At the beginning of your upkeep, Black Market Tycoon deals 2 damage to you for each treasure token you control, and you can tap them to create a treasure token. If all goes well, you shouldn't have any treasure tokens. You should be creating those tokens and turning them into cats or dogs. Though if you do have some treasures, you know, whether you have a Smothering Tithe or, you know, that bootlegger stash, and you just happen to make tokens that are treasures, you know, you might take some damage, but, you know, we start at 40 life for a reason, and it's definitely a card you should. It's a card you should add, but it's also a cat. So with our creature strategies, our creature type strategies, it's going to fit in real well. All right, 2 more from this most current set, though there are a ton you can add from Streets of New Capenna. These are just ones that I find interesting and fun and fit into this really well. Aura Mutation, it's an instant for a green and a white. Destroy target enchantment and then create X 1/1 green Saproling creature tokens, where X is that creature, or excuse me, that enchantment's mana value. So you can get rid of a problematic enchantment, say something like a Smothering Tithe or any other number of problematic enchantments that are flooding the format right now. And then you can get a X 1/1 green Saproling creature tokens for that CMC of the enchantment, and then you can turn those into cats or dogs. All right, and the last new card I want to talk about from Streets of New Capenna, specifically from the pre-con, is Fabian Boss's Confidant. This is a legendary creature cat advisor, a 3/6 that costs 6 mana, so 3 and Naya. Creature tokens you control have haste. Awesome. And then Parlay, which I think is really cool. At the beginning of each combat on your turn, each player reveals the top card of their library. For each land card revealed this way, you create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token. You know what we're going to do with that. And then creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn for each non-land card revealed this way. Then each player draws a card. So it's going to buff your creatures, it's going to get you a card, it's going to make you creatures, and then all of your tokens have haste. So even if you're going the dog route with Vigilance, your dogs can have haste. It's awesome. I actually think this is a fun commander in general to build. I actually debated between this one and Janine. I hope I'm saying that right. Ginny? It's probably Ginny. Whatever. I debated between this one and Ginny. This one I think can be a little bit more fun. The parlay is super interesting. So finding a way to abuse that could be interesting. So you may see this one coming up sooner than later. All right. And now, I mean, you have your typical, I'm not going to go over the typical commander token win cons. You know, you have your Craterhoof behemoths. You have your Perforoses and your impact tremors, you know, when things come into play dealing damage. We're not going to talk about any of those win cons. You guys know the win cons of token strategies, and if you don't and you would like to know more about those different strategy win cons, let me know in the comments below and I'll make a series of videos explaining different win cons for different strategies. I think that could actually be something I do anyway, but it'd be nice to know if that's something y'all are interested in hearing. So let me know if you want that. But that being said, let's just go over a couple of other fun token generators and things to abuse tokens with. So next up from the Midnight Hunt set, there it is. Adeline Resplendent Cathar, 1 white for a legendary creature human knight, which is a star 4. With Vigilance, its power is equal to the number of creatures you control, should be a lot. Whenever you attack, for each opponent, create a 1/1 white human creature token that's tapped and attacking that player or a planeswalker they control. So replacing those 1/1 white humans for 2/2 Vigilance cats or 2/2 hasty cats or 3/1 Vigilance dogs is pretty good. They're going to come in tapped and attacking, and Adeline's going to get bigger for all your tokens, so it's definitely going to be a busted card. So let's keep this one in mind, folks. Another good token generator back from Khans of Tarkir, my favorite set, is Secure the Wastes. It's an X-white instant that reads, put X 1/1 white warrior creature tokens onto the battlefield. It's a great mana sink. Late in the game, if you just have nothing to do and you draw this, and you have a crap ton of mana because we are playing green, so you will be ramping, you can just dump mana into this on your end step, on an opponent's end step, and just flood the board with creatures, and then untap, attack with an army, and just wreck face. So Secure the Waste, an amazing token card. It's definitely going to go in this deck, I think. And then you have your Tireless Provisioner and Tireless Tracker. Oh, my dog's under the desk. Hey, buddy, do you know I'm talking about? Do you know I'm talking about dogs and cats? That's why you're hanging out. So you have the Tireless Provisioner and Tireless Tracker. These two are the Landfall-esque, well, I guess Provisioner has Landfall on it, but when a land enters the battlefield, you create some sort of token. So in Tireless Provisioner, you make a treasure or a food. Tireless Tracker, you make a clue, though with our commander, with Jinnie in the battlefield, we are making cats. Or dogs, whatever you prefer. Let's not turn this into a cat or dog debate. You make both. It is what it is. So yeah, these are definitely worth throwing in the deck because you play a land, you get the value there. You get to either choose. Hold on. Is this a May ability? You may. So that's excellent. So you have the option to either get the tokens you need or make the creatures. So if you need treasure tokens with any of the things we've talked about so far, you can get those. Or if you'd rather just get a creature, you get creatures. It's awesome. It's super good. All right. Next up, any of the Krankos. The Krankos are busted in this deck. Like we have Kranko Tin Street Kingpin and Kranko Mob Boss, two goblin generators that you make an obscene amount of goblins, but in this case you're turning those goblins into cats and dogs. It's gonna just, gain you value. You may need to start off by making a couple goblins at first. That way, you can really take advantage, especially of Kranko Mob Boss's ability, but having that availability to tap one of the Krankos, or when you attack with Kingpin, getting those tokens to come in as cats or dogs. And then, if you have a Perforos out or an Impact Tremors out, forget about it. All right, and then you have your token doublers. You have Parallel Lives, you have Doubling Season, you have the white one that I can't think of the name of right now, but here it is on the screen. Anything that's going to double your tokens is just a shoo-in here. You're gonna jam those into this deck as fast as possible. You want to try to get as many tokens out on the battlefield as you can. If you're trying to swing for damage, if you're trying to get damage off of Perforos, yeah, you're gonna plug in these token doublers immediately. It's not even a question. At least one of them. Maybe two of them. All right, and what is a commander deck without board wipes? But board wipes for token decks are generally a bad thing. Though with the pre-cons from Midnight Hunt on the shelves, we got ourselves a board wipe that is going to help token decks tremendously from our side. Obviously, if other players play board wipes, we're kind of screwed, but this one here is Hour of Reckoning, 4 white for a sorcery with Convoke, and then destroy all non-token creatures. So amass that crazy board of tokens, play Hour of Reckoning, kill everything else, and then you can swing in for some massive damage. Yeah, you have to replay your commander probably, but I think at that point, if you're playing Hour of Reckoning, you're going for a win. You're not going, unless it's a ripcord, pull in case of emergency situation, you probably have the game on lock at that point. All right, one I just saw before we go to the last one here is Parva of the Steel Legion. This is one of the Commander Legends partner commanders. It is a 2 and a white, 1/4 legendary creature cat soldier. As long as it's your turn, creature tokens you control get +1/+4, and then you can pump some mana into it to create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, which is great, but that on your turn, your creature tokens being +1/+4 is invaluable. Definitely something you're going to want to plug into your token deck. It's just it's a good body, and it's going to get your tokens buffed, and it's going to help with protection as far as swinging in and maybe not dying, because those dogs are 3/1s. They need a little bit of a booty to be able to soak up some damage. So Parva is going to be, I think, essential for this strategy. And then last, we have Ren and Siri Inseparable. Now, this could be the commander of this deck altogether. There are plenty of Ren and Siri decks out there. People love them, though. I think if you want to make this like a cat dog tribal deck, throwing this into the Jinnie deck, or Ginny deck, excuse me, isn't a bad idea. If you have dog creatures and regular cat creatures along with your token strategies, if you make that like the sub theme is dogs and cats, throwing in Ren and Siri is definitely worth doing. If not only for that final ability to pay Naya and tap it to deal damage equal to the number of dogs you control, and then gain life equal to the number of cats you control. We're gonna have a lot of both, so this could really be a card to use in situations where you just have a ton of those tokens and you need some value off of it. Plus, it's Ren and Siri. Look how adorable they are. Like, they're just a good creature to have in general. But all right, folks, that's all we got for the the cards I feel like would just go well in this deck. So we're gonna toss it back over to myself on the face cam. Here we go. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. If you enjoyed it, make sure to go ahead and give this a like and a subscribe. Also, don't forget to check out our affiliate for Pinfinity AR. They make custom altered reality pins. They're super awesome. They're super high quality. You take your phone and you scan it, and then the pin comes to life. It's super awesome. I highly recommend them. If you're into enamel pins or just pins in general, you should go check it out. You can use the link down in the description below, or use my code THATTCGguy, coupon code THATTCGguy on checkout. You get 20% off of any order, or you get 20% off of your first subscription. So go ahead, check that out. You're gonna like it. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I got for you. So I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you did, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you haven't already, I would really appreciate it. It helps out quite a bit. That's all I got for you. So we're going to get going. We're going to do a quick stream, I think, of a live deck build. And then, yeah. All right. Let's shuffle up. Let's get a game. Peace.